We haven't started yet, Bo.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, though. Good morning, everyone. Councillor Hills, would you like to take a seat? All right. Thank you, Councillor Henderson. So I'd like to declare this meeting open. Welcome everyone to Budget and Performance Committee. Before I kick off, I thought I would share a few thoughts on how I'd like to run these meetings and hopefully make them a bit more efficient so you all have more time to go do your councillor stuff. So I'd prefer our meetings to be as relaxed as possible without leaning too heavily on standing orders. At the same time, I'm keen that we get through the business efficiently while still making robust decisions. There's one area I want to be reasonably tight on, and that is asking questions of staff. I'm keen that we get straight to the questions without a lengthy preamble beforehand. So I'll be keeping a close eye on that, and I'll be reminding everyone. So please save any comments for the debate itself. Everyone's time is valuable, including our staff, so we should try and keep our questioning to the point. Good afternoon, Mr. Wayne Brown. You're welcome. I would like to keep our questioning to the point and governance related. And since we are the budget committee, it seems only fair we practice what we preach and try not to overspend, especially when it comes to time. And with that, I have a couple of reminders. This meeting is being live webcast, so we have electronic meeting attendance protocols in place, and I would ask that you observe them, everyone online. So make sure that you're in a secure place, not driving, and you turn your camera on when you're speaking. And with that, I just would like if everyone's phone was turned off or on silent. And should we do the attendance by electronic link? So we've got Hokura Chair David Taipiri, Hokura Member Tori Ngātaki, Councillor Watson, Councillor Burns, Councillor Ferry, potentially Councillor Filipaina and Councillor Turner. Is there anyone else who is online that I haven't read out? No? That's all? Cool. Apologies. Alpha's kind of like a maybe, isn't he? So I'll say that Councillor Filipaina is absent. Wayne Brown's here and Councillor Williamson for lateness. Yes, Shane?
Thanks, Chair. Just an apology, I've got to leave at 2 if we're still going.
Okay, cool, and Shane to leave Councillor Henderson at 2.
I've got to go 10 minutes, it's
in and out. Okay, so Wayne will be in and out. Is there anyone else that needs to leave early? No? Thank you, Councillor Fletcher, and Councillor Hills will second. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Declaration of interests? There are no declarations of interest. Confirmation of minutes? I'll move the confirmation of minutes. Can I get a seconder? Councillor Simpson. All those in favour, say aye. Against? Carried. Items not on the agenda. There are no items not on the agenda. Petitions, no public input, no local board input, which takes us to item 8.1, which is approval of the Statement of Intent for Tataki Auckland Unlimited, Auckland Future Fund and non-substantive CCOs, an amendment to the 2025-2028 Statement of Intent for Watercare Services Limited. So this is the final stage of the Statement of Intent process for these CCOs after the letters of intent were sent late last year to them and then us providing shareholder comments in June. So over to you two.
Kia ora koutou. So as the Chair has mentioned, this report is to approve the final statements of intent for Tātaki Auckland Unlimited, Auckland Future Fund Trustee Limited and Watercare, as well as the Contemporary Arts Foundation and Waste Disposal Services. So the governing body considered so we received and carefully reviewed the final SOIs based on the shareholder comments from the 2nd of June. We believe that the final SOIs now address these comments and that they should be approved. So just noting that the process for Watercare is slightly different. Under water reform, the existing statements of intent, those are the ones for the 2025-2026 financial year, they remain in place. However, Watercare has made both project and budget updates so that it can remain, that SOI can remain the basis for accountability for this financial year. Thank you.
Yeah, are there any questions? No? Okay, thank you. Can I ask you guys to step back, please? All right, I'll move this. You want to move it, Andy? You can move it, Andy. I'll second it. Any debate? No? All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. All right. Next up, we have shareholder comments on Port of Auckland draft statement of corporate intent. This is our feedback as shareholders. We don't have Ports of Auckland in the room today, so welcome, Chris, to speak on this, and thanks for your work on this. And I also note that you're recommending we comment on our agreement with them on the transfer and public activation of the Central Wharves and breastworks.
Thank you, Chair. As you mentioned, this item is you've been asked to approve Council's shareholder comments on Port of Auckland's draft statement of corporate intent. For those of you who aren't familiar with the process, the SCI is similar to the statement of intent for CCOs. However, Council does not approve the final Port of Auckland SCI, so this is your opportunity to provide feedback on it. The legislation does provide a mechanism for making amendments later on, but it's just important to set that out. We've reviewed the draft SCI. We consider that subject to some minor changes. It meets the legislative requirements. It responds well to Council's letter of expectation and plans for the port and Portland. Importantly, the SCI commits financial returns above those agreed in the LTP and maintains a continued focus on health and safety. The table at paragraph 15 sets out how the SCI responded to Council's letter of expectation. And the comments we are recommending first to amend the section in relation to the Central Wharf so it better reflects those agreements set out in the LTP. Second, to acknowledge Port of Auckland's strong financial performance and commitment to health and safety, whilst also taking the opportunity to reiterate the importance to the shareholder of those two things. And finally, to address some minor definitional and drafting matters. But with that, I'll happy to take questions.
Right, do we have any questions? Oh, you guys are a dream today. Oh, Desi's got a question.
No, I was just going to ask, the SCI increases the net profit after tax target above the LTP. Does it increase the dividend target beyond the LTP?
Yes, as they are, it's a flow on from the profits, but they have recorded dividend targets of 60, 62 and 65 million over the 3 years.
No, thank you, Chris. I'll ask you to step back. Any debate? I'm assuming not. Cool. Can I get a mover? Yep, Lotto. Bartley to second. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. And now this is my favourite report. Welcome. So this is the Auckland Council Group Financial and Service Performance. Welcome, Karina and Michael. This looks like to be a great result. So thank you. And I note some improvements in our building consents and animal management, which I'm sure some councillors are excited about. So yeah, take it away when you're ready.
Kia ora and Gamshaw. This report covers the financial, operational and service performance results for quarter 4, FY 25-26. Just noting that these results are provisional, of course, subject to change as part of the audit review process for the annual report, which will be formally adopted at the end of this month. As Chair's mentioned, Mike and I will briefly cover some of the results, but we'll take the report as read and happy to take any questions. Over to you, Mike.
So, kia ora, just to speak briefly to the financial points, and yes, as Karina's mentioned, those are still going through their final audit phase, but we're comfortable with releasing some provisional operating results here in this report at this stage, and then the final annual report will come to the governing body next month. So the key takeouts from this report is that the net direct operating performance still remains almost $300 million ahead of budget. That's primarily driven by direct revenue improvements of just under $200 million favourable, and also operating cost about $100 million under budget. In terms of capital expenditure improved in the fourth quarter, and fourth quarter was almost bang on budget, which meant that our overall capital delivery for the 12 months as a group ended up at $3.7 billion, 87% of the total budget. Obviously, our capital investment, we primarily fund through use of debt to spread the cost of assets over their service lives, and that over the course of the year, we've borrowed just over $1 billion worth of debt, 1,036 million, and to fund that, when we take into account also some revaluation of our debt, and I think we've discussed this before, that we need to revalue foreign currency debt into New Zealand dollars. That is not a cost to us in terms of real money going out the door. It's a book valuation, but our end closing debt balance of $15.5 billion is just under the budgeted figure of 15.6. So I'll just pass back to Karina for service performance.
Thanks, Mike. So our service performance measures were mixed. Out of the 25 measures, we achieved 14 of them, or 56%. A further 10 measures were not achieved, and just one was substantially achieved. So community services continue to do well. Library visits, pool and leisure visits exceeded target. Library items checked out continues to grow, and comfortably higher than target, with e-issues now making up around 38% of all items checked out. The favourable results for response time to noise calls were the result of just under 85% against the target of 80, has been supported by the creation of the environmental health noise team, which has enabled a focused approach to contract management, and partnership, and having one contractor for the whole Auckland region has also helped. Just in terms of a couple of areas where we did not meet target, although the percentage of priority 1 animal management requests for service attended to within 60 minutes at just over 91% was short of the 98% target. It is a slight increase on last quarter's results and a 7% increase on the previous years. So the animal management unit has undergone a team reorganisation and a number of operational efficiencies. Key challenges do remain around increased volumes, more difficult cases and staff retention. The full animal management report will be made available, will be presented to the Regulatory and Safety Committee and made publicly available in October. So that's just a couple of sound bites, and I'm happy to take any questions alongside Mike. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councillor Patterson-Hamlin.
Kia ora, Chair. Thank you. Just a hopefully quick, unworrying one. With the relative underspend in our capital delivery, is any of that going to increase our savings target because it's going to be reflected this financial year because of anything being deferred or delayed? Is that something we should be worried about?
No, it won't increase the savings target. Those capital programs have generally been deferred. Most of the drivers, as you'll see in the report, are due to timing issues, but it won't require an increase in the savings target.
I guess that's what I mean. So the timing issue is going to bring it through into this financial year, but it's okay because we've got the underspend from the previous one, so it's not going to impact the savings target. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. It's also because it's funded by debt, so there's less borrowing than the prior year to fund it, so that can still be used in the year going forward.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Simpson.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for this. Look, I know the financials well, so mine is more around the service levels and specifically the resource consenting. Resource consenting the review was completed in March. The gap to target is the widest of any service. So my question is, are we confident that the resource consenting improvement program is on track to materially improve the service?
If that's okay, Deputy Mayor, we will take that away just to double check our information, if that's okay.
Because I think that's a real key takeout here. We have told people we'll do better with our resource consents. This is a value for money thing. And I just really want to make sure that that is translating into improved service.
We'll get a response from the team.
Cool. Thank you. Councillor Williamson.
Yeah, could I just ask a couple of questions about your slide 3 and the net debt stuff? You've said that Watercare now has been taken out of this because it does its own and is separate. Those two 12.3 billions of financial year 23 and financial year 24, do they have, with Watercare taken out of them, or have we only just started taking out of it now?
No, all of the numbers, all of the debt numbers on page 3 include Watercare. We only exclude Watercare for treatment of, for assessment of things like debt to revenue ratios, but that is a fully consolidated.
So the 15.5 for the year financial year 26, that has still got Watercare's debt in it?
Yes.
Okay. So just explain to me again, Watercare now raises its own directly. This allows Watercare to borrow more to fund it, so on. So it's got its own right to borrow, but we still keep it in there as because it's under the group net debt.
So yes, we still need to report publicly about full group consolidated debt.
Okay.
But they do, their debt is insulated from ours for purposes of credit ratings and assessment.
The other thing that I think government and a lot of companies do when they're reporting debt, they report what their debt servicing related to that is, because of all the hedging we've got and because of all of the different currencies we've got and so on, it's very hard to look at 15.5 and say, what's that costing us? Could I ask that just as part of the report from now on, you put a paragraph in there about what our debt servicing costs are for that year?
Yeah, we can have a look at that. We also include on pages 37, 38, more information around our treasury function, but I can have a look at that question that you've asked.
It's just, I mean, if you look at the government net debt and then you look at 10 billion of debt servicing, it sort of goes, whoa, that's a big chunk of money to be spent just on interest rate. I think I know what our numbers are, but I've got to go back to a spreadsheet and try and do bits and pieces of it. It would be more useful in a report like this to have another paragraph which says this means our annual debt servicing costs are.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Turner.
Thank you. Just leading on from Councillor Williamson, and I've asked some of these questions before in different ways and in different places, but I'm still struggling to understand this Watercare debt. They are able to raise $13.5 billion more. However, they are going to pay back council the $4.5 billion that we have loaned them off our books over the next 5 years. They have already sent back 500 million. I've been told before that that doesn't change the group scenario, because, you know, it's just that Watercare have borrowed the money from someone other than us. But there is a big transfer takes place. Real money changes hands, because Watercare now has 4.5 billion less that it can spend on its infrastructure, forward infrastructure capital spending. And yet our debt hasn't gone down. If real cash flowed to us, surely we're going to pay off that 4.5 billion. That will keep the books the same, but Watercare's debt's climbing and our debt's climbing. Can you explain what we've spent what we've spent the 500 million that's so far come back to us on?
Okay, so the figures that we've included in this report, the 15.5, is total debt for the group. So it includes the parent and Watercare. You're correct that as Watercare have been paying back the money that we've borrowed for them over prior years, that the parent debt is coming down and Watercare debt is going up. Watercare self-borrowed debt is going up. So yes, there are real cash transfers between Watercare and Auckland Council parent, but at a group level, those two net off. Going forward, yes, Watercare are able to borrow more, and you will see through their capital program and their debt projections as we work through the long-term plan, how that looks over the next decade, and we'll be able to provide that. I think given the nature of these questions, we might do some more work alongside the query from Councillor Williamson on whether we can provide some more information about that breakdown of that debt between different entities in the group, just so that we can be a bit more transparent, and hopefully that will answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. And if you could...
Thank you. Sorry,
Sorry,
Madam Chair, for a second.
Michael,
No, that's okay. Thank you for that. I still am struggling to understand, and I have gone out of my road privately to obtain specialist advice on to try to understand this, and our overall debt just seems to be rising, and so I will be looking forward to that, and I will try to come to to meet with you better equipped to try to ask more and understand better. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. And Mike, if you could actually rotate that to all councillors, that would be fantastic as well.
Yes, we will.
Councillor Henderson.
Thank you. Just looking at the capital delivery figures, they're generally under budget, and some of them are very well under budget. So auto is at only 62% delivery or 64% delivery. I then look and I see that each have their own kind of bespoke explanation as to why they're so far under budget. But I'm just wondering, is there a trend here? Because it seems like everything is well under where it should be. Are there some broad themes as well that maybe weren't included in the report, or is it just an individual question?
There are some themes that we can draw. Yeah, there are timing challenges. Think some of the more notable items you've seen there. Ports of Auckland. That there was some getting started on those projects and consenting issues. Watercare had that big change to the scope of the Queen Street project. And then in other projects, yeah, they've mainly been construction delays. I think we need to be more prudent. We have included a under-delivery assumption, which we did include so that we wouldn't borrow more money than we needed to, or budget for more borrowing than we needed to. That was probably lower than it might have needed to be. But it continues to be a challenge with timing. I think, as people try to focus more on better value, I think we want to be careful about encouraging people to rush projects, and the Better Value Projects team focusing on ensuring we're getting good value for money can sometimes, you know, slower and cheaper is better than, yeah. But yeah, it's generally just been delays through consenting and procurement.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much. That gives me some comfort. But what I'm also just trying to get to the heart of is we don't have to worry about our ability to deliver in the marketplace for CapEx generally, do we? Are we struggling to get contractors, things like that?
We haven't been advised that that's an issue at this stage.
Thank you, that's wonderful. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Mayor Brown.
Thanks for this, it's quite a good report. It tells me that group capital delivery is 87%, which means we haven't spent all the money. But we kind of measure how we spend the money rather than what we get. Is there some way that I'd feel really good if group capital delivery was 87%, but the value of what we got was 92%. But I don't know that of what we expected to get. I know it's really easy to measure how much you've spent, but I mean, how many of the projects are completed? Are they 87% of them completed, or 63% of them completed? I just need some. I mean, I'm pleased to see we've got some money left over, but that might be bad news. I don't know. It's just not quite finessed enough for me to feel comfortable. Is that all right?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. It continues to be something that we kind of struggle with, and you know, a challenge of how do you measure actual performance. And in some of them, you know, I know recently in Watercare's results, it was actually because they were able to do it cheaper. So that it's actually a good news story. So we continue to work on that through the Better Value Projects team, trying to find ways to report on that. Auckland Transport also, you know, will be reporting on, you know, lengths of kilometres of road renewals and things like that, and we'll see that coming through in the annual report.
Yeah, well, that'd be good to actually have, they set a measure and we report about what they achieved. So if they spent 87% of the money and did 92% of the roads, that'd be good. But if they only do 50% of the roads, it might not be so good. So just because it's difficult doesn't mean we say we shouldn't try and do it. Is that all right? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Any other questions? No? I might ask you guys to step back, please. Thank you. So I will move this. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Simpson. All those in favour say aye. Against? Carried. And just maybe in the interest of time, I might take the last three items together. I'll move. I'll second. Thank you, Councillor Williamson. All those in favour say aye. Against? Carried. Thank you, guys. I'm pretty sure that is a world record in this space. I mean, you're more than welcome to. Yeah.
I've got a notice of motion on 120 on plan change.
No, thank you, everyone, and I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone online, and meeting is now closed.
Thank you, well done, Chair.
Can I recommend that you've now set a challenge for Councillor Hills?
Bring it on, Hills.
So you'll be able to concentrate on your job rather than interfering in other people's things. Yeah, very good.
Got to be efficient, Hills.